Good morning, everyone. Got your coffee? I got mine. So listen, there's something that I want to say, but before I say it, there are people that I need to say thank you to. I need to say thank you. I mean, I need to say the kind of thank you to Tracy that I don't even know if I have words to articulate to you how thankful I am for you in this moment. Yesterday, I mean, what you did for me yesterday served as a reminder that I am not alone in this. And I know that I'm not alone in this, but I am one of those people that when I get in my feelings, I mean, I'm capable of being vulnerable, don't get me wrong, but I try not to be too vulnerable on the internet because you have all these people who are just so horrible. And when they see you having a moment, they try to make it worse. They try to make it worse. And I know that those people are broken, and I know that they're damaged, and I know that they're unhealed. And there used to be a time when I used to pray for them, but not anymore. Not anymore. I just wish them the best, and then I just proceed to block them. I do, because that is me being proactive and making sure that I never have to deal with that particular individual ever again. But being vulnerable on the internet is not easy. And yesterday I was having a moment, and I'm still in the middle of that moment, and I'm not going to lie. I am. And so what you did and what you said, it was truly, truly, truly amazing. And I thank you so much for being so selfless and reminding me that it's not just me, and that there are other people out there who are trying to make a difference and be impactful. And you were, and I thank you. The same thing for you, T. Taylor. T. Taylor, you have always just been there, and you have always just been so supportive, and you've never faltered in that. And I thank you for just being a pillar of strength, being consistent. And Christina, I want to say thank you to you too. I really appreciate you helping out with the Library Pantry. Speaking of which, because you ladies blessed me, I was able to bless someone yesterday in a big, big way. Someone who was having a moment too, okay? And only I could do something about her moment. Her moment was financial, but my moment was spiritual and emotional. But I could help her, and because of you, she's over her moment. I'm going to spend today trying to get over mine. I am. But when I tell you I am so deeply, 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 deeply worried about Black people and about us. And I don't stay in these moments. My husband, he doesn't like it when I get here. And he says, the work, if it's doing it to you, And I know how to take breaks. Don't think that I don't know how to take breaks. But I also know me better than anybody on the planet. And I know that I'll persevere. I know that I'll get over it. It's just a moment. And sometimes I have to be in the moment. I have to feel it. Because if I don't allow myself to feel it, I run the risk of not feeling anything and becoming the kind of person that I talked about earlier, that when they see you're having a bad moment and that you're struggling, they try to make it worse for you. That's their way of trying to feel something, because they are so broken and so empty inside that they have to do things like that in order to just feel something. I have to feel my feelings so that I never end up like that. And so I am having a moment because I am very scared for Black people. And I think that collectively speaking, we aren't taking this moment, speaking of moments, seriously. And I know that a lot of us are going to suffer greatly behind it. And I know that there is nothing that I can do about that except what I'm doing. And so that's that on that. And with that being said, Tracy, T. Taylor, and Christina, I thank you so much for making my moment a little easier. Thank you so much. Now, with that said, you know, from time to time, well, not from time to time, well, from time to time, when we, like, say, leave the central pantry, or when we're out in the community doing work for the community, we'll treat ourselves to lunch. We don't go out to dinner too often anymore because it's so expensive now. Restaurants have become so expensive. So we don't dine out too much. But we do treat ourselves to lunch from time to time and take advantage of those lunch prices, because I can do without it, to be honest. I'm not someone who is eager to pay a lot of money, spend a lot of money on mediocre food. And if you can't churn out a better dish than I can on my 4-burner electric stove in my little kitchen, why am I paying you for the pleasure? That's my attitude. But my husband's attitude, and I understand his attitude too, is it's an experience. It's a chance for you and I to sit down across the table from each other and catch up and talk about the work and what we want to continue to do and how we want to continue to grow ourselves and our relationship while he can have a cocktail. So I get it. I get it. We have lots of moments like that in our home. I try to make sure that our home is conducive for that type of environment. But I understand him wanting to get out. Anyway, listen. We're not natives to South Carolina. We are Detroit, Michigan natives. And it is just my opinion. Don't come for me, South Carolina. It is just my opinion. And I'm not only comparing it to Detroit, but I'm comparing it to all of the United States that I've been to. I've been to pretty much every state in the United States. Back in my youth, I was a driving person. And I had 2 little boys, and it was nothing for us to pack up the car, get in the car, and just go. And have an experience. An adventure. So I would drive. Whether it was in parts of Canada or parts of the U.S., I'd just drive. And not only that, but I've been blessed enough in my youth to have, well, when I was younger than I am now, to have gone outside of the U.S. And when I tell you that I am just very underwhelmed with the food here in South Carolina and the restaurant scene, I am. So I joined this group, right? And so that we can, when we do have the time and the money to go to a restaurant, based on the reviews in this group, we'll try a new restaurant or we'll try a new spot and, you know, kind of see what we like, because, you know, we're not from around here. And I was in the group. I was scrolling through the group, and there's a new restaurant on the scene, and it is a Black-owned restaurant. And I forget the name of the restaurant, but they just opened. Just last week, they just opened. And a couple of people did reviews on it. No one's really paying attention to it, because in this group is maybe 20%, maybe 80% white and 20% everything else. You know, I'll say 80% white. No, I'll say maybe 70% white. Let me put it that way. And maybe 10% everything else. You know, I'm that math ain't mathing. 30% everything else. You know, 20% black and maybe 10% everything else. Anyway, you get the point I'm trying to make. I'm a little tired. Bear with me. I'm having a moment. And so a sister, she went to this restaurant. I promise you I have a point. She went to this restaurant and she reviewed it, and she said she didn't trash the restaurant. She just said that some things were good. She said she talked about what she enjoyed. She talked about what she didn't enjoy. She didn't trash the restaurant, but her review just wasn't favorable. Now, mind you, this group is about 70% white, and this restaurant is Black-owned. And so I went to the comments because I knew what I was going to see. And I saw a bunch of white folks who said they went to this restaurant, basically trashing this restaurant. Now, mind you, it's black owned. It just opened. It doesn't have its legs yet. And reviews in a group that big, because I'm trying to tell you, it's a couple of 100,000 people. And this city is not that big. Those reviews can make or break these restaurants. They can. It's like a Keith Lee experience almost, because I have written reviews of restaurants in this group to where restaurant owners have asked me, invited me to come to their restaurant. So these reviews can be significant. So knowing this, she wrote this review. And like I said, it wasn't a bad review, but it wasn't a good review either. And it was more unfavorable than it was favorable. So I know good and well all these white people ain't rush to go to this black-owned restaurant like they're saying that they did. And mind you, they don't have any specifics. They're just saying, oh yeah, I went there and we didn't like it either. Or yeah, we went there and we didn't like it either. I refuse to believe in the few days that this restaurant has been open that those many white folks went to that restaurant. But because white people are racist and they can't help serving that racist demon inside of them, anything black and trying, they're going to just tear it down, because that's just who they are at their core. That's just who they are. And so I said to myself, if I went to the restaurant, I'm very careful what I say when it comes to black-owned businesses. And for me to write a bad review of a black-owned business, when I tell you they had to have really treated me like crap, that's the only way I'm going to write a bad review. If I don't like the restaurant, I just won't review it. That's with pretty much anything. It could be a product. And if I didn't like the product, I'm not going to trash the product where everybody can see, because it's a black-owned business and I understand the overhead and the struggles that black people have to go to in order to put a business up. I understand that a lot of black-owned businesses are first-generational businesses. We black people didn't have the benefit of having a restaurant or a hardware store or a general store passed down to us, or a funeral home or, any kind of a business passed down to us throughout the generations. I saw over in the room where somebody posted a black-owned plumbing place, and the people, it was like it was a 40-year business, but that's still just 2 generations. You know what I'm saying? And it's rare. So I say this to say that yesterday someone made a comment that said that they basically felt like when I have discussions about the black community on this platform, mind you, that I'm short-sighted and that I don't put it down the way it needs to be put down. Basically, that's what they were saying. I'm not short-sighted. I understand the issues. I'm black. I've been black for, since day one. Day one. I've been black that long. And I've been black for, that means I've been black for about 54 years now, going on 55 years. It's a long time to be black. And it's a long time to recognize some things, and it's a long time to grow in consciousness. And I have enough sense to know that I need to be very careful. I have a responsibility to my community, because my community, you're sitting here and you're listening to me. But I know that you're not the only ones listening to me. I know that there are white folks sitting back listening to me too. And even though you don't see them in the comments, because I've said it enough times that they don't need to be over here on a pro-black platform. They need to carry their asses over to their own community and address their own fucking issues over there somewhere. So they don't too much speak up, because they know that I'm just going to block them, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to block them because I don't feel like they belong here. But it's nothing that I can do to keep them from being here. But what I'm not going to do while they're here is tear down black people in front of them. I'm not going to do that. I'm not incapable of holding black people accountable. I hold black people accountable all day, every day. But I'm very mindful of the way that I do that and who I do that in front of. Because I'm not fixing to entertain these white folks or these anti-black POC for their entertainment or their comfort. I'm not going to do that. And when black people, when we say things that are negative about other black people in our own community, white people, racist white people, will hear that shit and they will use it to validate their racism. Even black people say it. Even a black person say it. Well, I know that I'm not being racist because if black people are saying it, how am I being racist? They will use our words against us like that. Trust me when I tell you I am not, I'm a lot of things, but short-sighted is not one of them. And that's why I created a space like The Room over on Facebook where it's black only. So that we can have those heavy discussions about what it is black folks doing out in the streets that we need to cease doing. This ain't the time and this ain't the place to tear down black people. And when you do it in front of other people who are white, who are Asian and anti-black, who are Hispanic and anti-black, who are Latino and anti-black, who are Middle Eastern and anti-black, you come off anti-black. So before you address me and my short-sightedness, you might want to take a real long look in the mirror about how the way we come at each other, the way we address each other, the way we hold one another accountable, and who we do it in front of, how that can affect and harm our community. And that's all that I have to say. If you would like to support the platform, I would greatly appreciate it. I will leave my Cash App and my Venmo down in the comments. If, like myself, you are having a moment and you see how things are escalating against our community, just know that you are not alone. Yesterday, these ladies reminded me that I was not alone in it. And I'm very used to going through hard moments alone. It's what I always, because I've always had to be so independent, because of my past. And I'm used to dealing with hard moments by myself. And just thank you for reminding me that I don't have to. Between you ladies and my husband yesterday, I got that reminder to not struggle with it alone, and that there are other people who are feeling it and trying to navigate it too, and that doing that together is community as well. It's black community too. Y'all have a good day. Be nice to other people. Fix yourself. And don't make somebody's day harder than it's got to be. Talk to you tomorrow.